It's a real joy, really, to introduce John Macker, an incredible poet, editor, and publisher of Long Road books, and gosh, I don't know, like 10 books of poetry now, at least. A fine friend, a superb poet, and as I said, a real beacon in my life. So here's John Macker.
Could you please hush over there? I'm not trying to read. It's too busy. It's great to see everybody here. Thank you, Danny and Rosen, for having us. For publishing John's book. It's good to come to a place like this. I think I was telling Art earlier that I had a used and rare bookstore in Glenwood Springs for about 7 years. And I told him that I always look forward to the months of August and March and December and July because those are the months that I made money. And this bookstore seems to be so much more evolved than mine was. And it's really nice to be here and see old friends like Valerie and Art and Kim and reconnect with Danny again. And thank you, John and John. I appreciate it. I'd like to start out with a Ground Zero poem. Down in New Mexico, it's almost imperative that you visit Trinity site. And it's a scary and wondrous and amazing place. This is called Trinity Site Dream Bomb. I visited there, and we visited in 2013, I think, and it really puts the hook in you. To go there, drive down I-25 past Albuquerque, stop at Mas Tequila to watch the Juarez pole dancers, pick up the hitchhiking ghosts of Gregory Corso and Johnny Cash, take a left at San Antonio at the trigger's edge of desert time to the desolate virtuosity of the Jornada del Muerto with its flat occult sunsets and morbid sense of irony. At Ground Zero, where the spring wind strips you of everything but your virginity, Bomb has lost its bellicose boom, has bottomed out as boogeyman. Dr. Bomb, who took a Hippocratic oath to kill, has become alchemist of blissful peace. No longer dances afoul of nature behind the eyelids of the dead, no longer enters eternity like a defrocked priest. Bomb used to be the devil's passion flower at dusk. In cantankerous desolation, dust devils moaned Gregory Corso's name as he debunked Bomb on his broadside. And when bombs in America sprouted like daffodils and dogs barked and unearthed midnight bombs, Yeehaw! Slim Pickens! Cowboys, his strange love bomb into cinema history. And all it took was a few psychedelic mushroom clouds of furious inorganic gardening to disarm the universe. Bomb sleeps restlessly in the busted bunkers of our dreams. And all that's left is a dream bomb in its shattered sunset bloom of deep sleep, smoke. Its Father, Son, and hellacious Spirit. We remember the blinded, the blast-stricken, gazing at the star fields of endless nothing. We are its mirror. And we've been to the edge of the world, and the world is dropping these sweet pages from the womb of Bomb on unsuspecting green earth. I read a lot about the border because I lived down there, and the desert, ever since I was a kid, really made a huge impression on me. And I love to walk miles across it and camp it and sleep in it and do everything in the desert. And it's made this impression. It's got into my innards. And this is called What the Border Militia Saw. And if you've ever been down there at the harder times on the border, there was not only the Border Patrol and Homeland Security and the whole regiment of official-looking people. the militarization of it at that time was kind of disarming. And there was a lot of citizen people there with their guns and their umbrellas and watching over the border for us all and protecting us. Topanga cowgirl, exile from SoCal, now from Fort Huachuca, hip replacement, American spirit smoker, Glock perched on her belt like a flattened crow. Lover of the bayou on the car radio, it's American voodoo time in hell, and the high sheriff of hell is this heat, a few miles from border twilight, somewhere between Palominas and Naco. Tohono O'odham, Berkeley, an Afghanistan educated, born on the Day of the Dead, drifts up out of the desert, surveys the row of cowgirls lined up like a firing squad in their chaise lounges, under fat umbrellas, their husbands proud to be citizen posse, the bellies of suburban Buddhas. And their weapons of choice after the guns and barbecue is vigilance in this bone-deaf, murderously dry air of summer. The Indian tells them, "You can't reason with the dogs of war," and then winks at one of them, and he quotes N. Scott Momaday. "These figures moving in my rhyme, who are they? They're death and death's dog time." And he says how predator drones have 1,000-yard stares, and each one should be named after an American president. And you can feel the shrapnel of their incensed camaraderie as he walks towards the highway beneath a flawless azure sky. And the ravens high above own the desolate arroyos and run them like boot camps. And each one is his favorite, consoling, mystifying. And beyond their insoluble shadows, the perceived threat. The rolling thunder of a desert in turmoil, imagined sicarios, assassins, anything moving on this enchanted and alluring ground. And she whispers after the Indian, "This is war."